Hi there, it's Natalie, your wellness consultant, and welcome to another episode of Wellness with Wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about the hot topic of weight loss. I'm sure it's on a lot of people's minds. It's the beginning of the year. A lot of us are setting some goals for ourselves, and weight loss does tend to be on the top of many people's lists of goals. So of course we're going to be looking at it from a natural, holistic perspective. So we're going to try and take a step back, look at the big picture, and consider what contributes to weight loss and weight gain. And then of course I will be introducing you to some natural remedies that will help with weight loss and the maintenance of weight loss. Now before I begin, here is my gentle reminder. The information we provide is not intended to be a substitute for medical treatment. Please consult your medical care provider before using herbal medicine, particularly if you have a known medical condition or if you are pregnant or nursing. If you are worried about any health condition, it is always advisable to have a face-to-face consultation with a qualified healthcare practitioner in order to obtain a diagnosis and treatment advice. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start with what I consider is an important step one if you are really serious about wanting to lose weight and, most importantly, losing it in a healthy, safe way. And step one is detox. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about diet as well. These two things do tend to go together. Now, when I talk about detox, the reason why I recommend starting out with doing a detoxification protocol is because metabolic toxins can actually slow down your fat metabolism. So you literally want to clear the way. You want to get rid of anything that is slowing your body down, interfering with energy production, interfering with your body's ability to eliminate. All of those things are going to contribute to ineffective weight loss. All right. Now, when I talk about detox, I am not talking about purging. I'm talking more about ensuring that the elimination organs are functioning properly. So we're not talking about taking a detox where you're running to the bathroom every 5 minutes and you have loose watery stool. No, what you want is something to support those elimination pathways. So herbals that are going to help to improve the function of your liver, because your liver is very important in your fat metabolism. Your kidneys, because they are very important in regulating water in your body, so managing water weight gain. And then of course your colon, making sure that you're clearing your bowel efficiently and fully each time you have a bowel movement, because that is going to help to reduce that bloating that you're going to see around the midsection. So find a good detoxification protocol that you can follow for a short period of time and consider that as step one. And there are detoxification kits that you can buy in health food stores that will give you all the remedies that you need, and they'll even give you a meal plan. Now, that's kind of a good segue into the diet side of things. Now, when I speak about diet, I'm not talking about deprivation. What we want is to really take a look at what we're eating. Perhaps the best way to do that is to do an honest, brutally honest food journal. So when you're thinking about wanting to start to lose weight, the first thing you should do is consider how you're eating. And doing a food journal is a really good, tangible way to evaluate what you're eating when you're eating it. So for a week or two, if you're super disciplined, I want you to jot down what you're eating at the time that you're eating it, and also of course fluids as well. And if you have the ability also to kind of try and gauge what the portion sizes are. All right. So once you've done that for a week or 2 weeks, you're going to be able to see what the trend is for what you're eating. Because sometimes, we think, hey, I'm eating pretty well. But then you do your food journal and you realize I'm getting like 1 serving of vegetables and 15 servings of fruit. So I need to correct that or balance that out. And then, if you are seeing a healthcare practitioner, they're really going to appreciate it if you do walk in with a food journal already done before you start consulting with them. So they'll be very, very happy to see that. So it's a very good idea to get a visual idea. Now, when you're talking about dieting, you don't want to be avoiding food groups. I am not a big fan of no fat, low fat, no carbs, only certain carbs. You are planning for the future. In other words, if you're planning on losing weight, ultimately our goal is you want to lose weight and we want to keep it off. So if you're going to go on a crash diet or some super restrictive diet, there's no way that we're going to maintain it for a lifetime. So when I'm talking about diet, I'm talking about healthy, balanced diet, correcting imbalances and making sure that you're including all the food groups in a balanced fashion. Yes, absolutely, you should be avoiding processed foods, you should be avoiding simple sugars, you should be trying to eat a more wholesome diet. But most definitely, you should be eating and touching on all your food groups because they are all necessary, critically necessary in order to support a healthy metabolism, so that when you're in that weight loss zone, that you are losing it efficiently because you're fueling your body with good, healthy food that's helping it along. Okay, so when we're dieting also, I don't recommend skipping meals. All right, so you want to make sure that you're eating regularly, 3 meals a day at least, and also ensuring that you're not overeating at one meal and then doing small snacks in between. You want to ensure that you're having 3 well-balanced meals during the day. Consider doing something perhaps like intermittent fasting, where you're eating within a very small period of time during the day, and then you're fasting. In other words, your last meal of the day, timing between your last meal of the day and the timing between your next meal the following morning is at least between 12 to 16 hours. So intermittent fasting is very efficient at helping to make sure that we have a healthy metabolism, good blood sugar balance too. But intermittent fasting helps us to be more disciplined about when we eat and what we're eating. But intermittent fasting is not about skipping meals. It is about making sure that you're getting those 3 well-balanced meals in within that short period of time. So consider something like that, because that would be a good habit to start acquiring when you are doing your detox, changing some of those bad eating habits that you've acquired over time. Okay, so the next brief category I'm going to be talking about when it comes to weight loss is exercise. Now, I have clients who come in and see me and they want to do a weight loss program. They're super gung-ho about making some healthy changes in their eating habits, and they want to lose the weight, but what they don't want to do is work for it. So I get to be the bearer of bad news and tell them that physical activity, especially cardiovascular physical activity, is exceptionally important if you're trying to lose weight. You cannot be sitting around couch potato on a diet and expect to lose weight and keep the weight off over the long term. So weight loss is really lifestyle change. So as I mentioned in the earlier segment, you need to take a look at what you're eating. And in this segment, we really need to take a look at what we're doing. What is our physical activity like? And good news, bad news. The good news is that even a small incremental increase in physical activity is going to make you see changes in your body. So you will see weight loss very quickly. Now, the bad news is you've got to work harder and harder. So in other words, you have to set some goals for yourself or when you're starting on an exercise program. Don't get lazy. If you're starting out doing a 15 or 20 minute walk, don't do that for the next year. Start challenging your body. Your body is an intelligent machine. It's going to get used to and adapt to your level of physical activity, and then you're going to plateau with your weight loss. So make some goals for yourself, weekly, monthly goals, or quarterly goals, whatever you'd like to do, but gradually increase and change up your exercise so that it's interesting. Choose forms of physical activity that you're going to enjoy. If you're not a gym person, don't worry about it. A gym is not an essential way to lose weight. You can be physically active outside of the gym. Dancing, swimming, rollerblading, skipping rope in the basement, whatever works for you that that you're going to look forward to doing, and that you can also increase in intensity over time. Now, this one is directed at the ladies in the audience. Weight bearing exercise is not going to turn you into a man. You're not going to become Arnold Schwarzenegger if you start lifting weights. It's actually a very important part of a weight loss program. If you're doing your cardiovascular exercise, in other words, exercise where you're raising your heart rate and maintaining an elevated heart rate for half an hour to 45 minutes, that's kind of prime fat burning time. So that can be a goal. Right? Maybe you start out with 10 or 15 minutes, but you really want to get into that half an hour to 45 minutes, because that's really when your body is getting at the deeper stored fat as a source of energy over and above using the energy from the food you just ate. Okay, so that's why you need about half an hour to 45 minutes of cardio. But you also need an equivalent time of doing some weight-bearing exercise, so lifting weights, because weight loss requires, in order for us to maintain our weight loss, we need to also not just burn body fat, but build good, healthy, lean muscle. So we're talking muscle tone here. And if you need some guidance, I'm not talking about pumping heavy iron, but I am talking about lifting some weights. So, find someone that you trust that can give you some advice as to what type of exercise you can do in order to build some good muscle tone. Your fat cells don't burn a lot of energy because they're storage cells, but your muscle needs a lot of energy in order for it to keep healthy and function properly. So the more lean muscle you have, the faster your fat metabolism is. So don't be afraid of picking up some weights. Definitely do your cardio, but also don't be afraid of doing weights, because that's going to help you to be slim and trim and energized, and in the long term that you'll be able to maintain that weight loss. Okay, now in this segment I'm going to talk a little bit about appetite control, and it does lead off from our previous conversation about healthy diet and not skipping meals. Now, appetite is a strange and wonderful thing, and sometimes it can be really complicated to figure out why we're overeating or snacking too much in between our meals, and why are we craving this particular food over the other. So the first thing I would normally look at as a natural health practitioner is what my clients are eating at their meals. So you see why it's so important to do that food journal. So you need to get an idea of what you're eating. Sometimes there can be an imbalance. Too much complex simple carbohydrate, not enough complex carbohydrates, or not enough fibrous foods, maybe too many starchy foods instead. Perhaps your portion sizes on your veggies are too small. You're not actually getting in enough protein to satiate you. So there's always that balance in your meals that you need to look for. I have a lot of people who come and tell me, I have been really watching what I'm eating. I'm exercising, but I can't seem to lose weight. Well, you've been watching what you're eating. Tell me what you've been eating. Oh, well, I only really eat 2 meals a day. I don't really feel hungry at breakfast. So, I only really kind of have brunch. Now, there lies the problem. I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting, but as I mentioned previously, intermittent fasting requires that you actually eat 3 meals a day within that short period of time, and that's important because your body needs fuel. Now, when you go extended periods of time without eating and then failing to give your body some regular fuel, it's like a car, like a gas tank that's empty. Your car can't run, it can't go anywhere because there's not enough gas to fuel it. So food is your fuel. So when we don't eat enough and we're skipping meals, our blood sugar can go wacky. And then all of a sudden, we start craving things that are going to give us quick energy. So our brain says, hey, you're starving. Go and get something to get into your system to get your blood sugar levels back up quickly. And that something is going to be either something sugary or something with a lot of simple carbohydrates in it, because you're going to get a quick energy boost from it. So if you're struggling with appetite control, take a look at how many meals you're eating in a day, and take a look at what you're eating at those meals, because sometimes it can just be as simple as tweaking some of your portion sizes. One of the very important components of appetite control is making sure you have enough fiber in your diet. Fiber does wonders for many things. I mean, it's great for colon health. But when we're talking about weight loss, complex carbohydrate, very fibrous grains, nuts, or seeds are going to regulate your blood sugar. They're going to satiate you. Fiber makes you feel full. So if you are struggling with portion sizes, having a higher fiber at each meal is going to make you feel full sooner. So you'll feel more satisfied so you don't overeat. Okay, and then there are certain types of fibers that will actually make you feel full for longer. In other words, they slow down your stomach emptying. So in fact, you have less cravings in between your meals. There are actually some fibers. There's a fiber matrix that was researched right here in Toronto, and it's an extract from konjac root. And this fiber essentially helps with making us feel satiated. It's great for cholesterol control too. It's great for, people who have blood sugar management issues. But for the purposes of weight loss, this fiber that's sourced from konjac root, glucomannan, is fabulous at helping us to control overeating and making us feel more satiated, so we're less likely to snack in between our meals. You can even use fibers like flax, chia, or psyllium as your fiber source, and they will give you a very similar effect, but you need to have it at every meal. Okay. The next thing I'm just kind of generally going to mention about appetite control is fat. Good fat is going to make you feel good, and it's going to be satisfying. And when I say good fat, we're talking about your essential fatty acids, your omega-3s, and your omega-6s. So if you are on a very, very, very low-fat diet, that could be the problem. Okay, so again, like we're cutting out an entire food group or seriously diminishing it. That could be the problem. Fats make us feel satiated. They make the food taste good, and they actually make us feel like we don't need any more. Okay, so incorporate good healthy fats into your foods. Flaxseed oil, the certified organic sunflower seed oil will give you a little bit of omega-6. Olive oil, toss your salads with it. So add in these good fats, and they will help with appetite control because they'll make the food tasty, and they will also make your brain feel very satisfied and happy. Also, good fats help to burn fat. So the more healthy omega-3s and omega-6s we have in our diet, the lower our body fat storage is. Okay, so keep that in mind. Chant it to yourself if necessary. Good fat helps to burn fat. So your essential fatty acids, in fact, fuel your fat metabolism. Okay, so this next section is a pretty big one, and we're going to talk about stress and weight gain. So we know that stress can raise our blood pressure, stress can cause cardiovascular disease, stress can cause inflammatory conditions, but stress definitely can have an effect on our metabolism. And we can see it in the way that our body stores fat. So if you are storing a lot of fat around your midsection, around your tummy, then that could be part of the reason why you are struggling with your weight loss. If you're not managing your stress properly, your body is going to continue to store more fat in your midsection. So how can we manage our stress levels and fuel our fat metabolism at the same time? So the organ that produces a lot of these hormones is called the adrenal gland. It's actually a gland, and it sits above your kidneys. There are two of them, one above each kidney. And they produce a hormone called cortisol, amongst other hormones. But cortisol is the one we want to chat about. It's not a bad hormone, but excessive levels of cortisol can contribute to more tummy fat. So, adaptogenic herbs, for example, like ashwagandha, Korean red ginseng, or holy basil, these herbs help our bodies to adapt to stress. That's what it means. That's the name of the game, is healthy adaptation to stress, a balanced response to stress, so that you can produce an appropriate amount of cortisol. And if you're doing that, then you're not storing as much tummy fat. Your vitamins that help you with your stress response and also fueling your fat metabolism would be your B complex, so the full B vitamin family 1 through 12, and also vitamin C in nice high levels, like 1 to 2,000 milligrams per day. Make sure that you take those consistently, because they're going to support your adrenal glands, those stress glands, but they're also going to make sure that those glands are functioning optimally, so we are storing less tummy fat, and at the same time we are fueling our fat metabolism. Now, a lot of us will go into health food stores and buy weight loss supplements, and a lot of these weight loss supplements have stimulants in them like caffeine, or some people will buy straight ephedrine or ephedra. Now, these are efficient at stimulating your metabolism. You'll feel it. You're going to get loads of energy from it. But number one, you may get a crash. So in other words, you ride high and then you fall quickly. That's an issue if you're not getting consistent energy. But these stimulants can provide stress. So here you are trying to lose weight, and you're taking these, weight loss pills that are packed full of stimulants like caffeine, and they're stimulating your nervous system. And now all of a sudden you're struggling to lose weight. You can't understand why, because your body is responding to the weight loss pills just like it would respond to stress. You're producing too much cortisol, and then what happens? Down we go again, right? So we're going down that road of weight loss and weight gain, and that roller coaster is not a fun ride. So there are weight loss products, things that can support your fat metabolism without working on your nervous system, so they won't be as stressful for your body. So for example, there's an antioxidant in green tea called EGCG. I'm not going to say the whole name because it's a mouthful, but it's known as EGCG. And this antioxidant actually supports your fat metabolism because it's a thermogenic. In other words, it mimics your fat metabolism. It piggybacks your fat metabolism. There are also herbals that help with supporting your fat metabolism through your liver. You can use herbs like milk thistle or artichoke to help you with your weight loss, because they do help you with the fat that's being managed through your liver. Lipotropic factors, which is choline, methionine, inositol, they also help with making sure that your body is metabolizing fats appropriately. And none of these things are working via your nervous system, which is fabulous. So you're not adding extra stress. You use the herbals for short bursts of time. So I usually say 6 to 8 weeks, just to kind of get you over plateaus. So don't depend on them, but do use them as a tool to help you to kind of jump to the next level. Okay, and then we don't get those side effects of riding the roller coaster of weight loss and weight gain. Okay, so next we're going to talk about sleep. Such an important thing, because if we don't have enough sleep, then we don't have enough recovery. Sleep time is recovery and rebuilding time for your body. It is of supreme importance if you are trying to lose weight, and you will actually notice that when you're getting irregular sleep or not enough sleep over a long period of time, that you start to gain weight. And why? Well, because your body doesn't have enough recovery time. So the goal is 8 hours, not 4, not 6, but 8 hours, right? 7 is okay, but generally you want to make that your goal. If you have irregular sleeping patterns, then there are loads of natural herbal remedies that I can advise you on. But most importantly, start working on your environment first. Before you take any herbal, make sure that your sleeping area is nice and dark. So all of those devices need to be off, or at least covered, so that you can't see that funky blue light that's telling your brain that we should still be awake. Okay, that blue light that you're looking at on your devices when you're supposed to be sleeping is interfering with your sleeping pattern. Also, having regular sleeping patterns, in other words, going to sleep at the same time every night, waking up at the same time in the morning, contribute to a good rhythm. Your body works in rhythms. There's a circadian rhythm, which means your body's response to light and darkness, and our sleep is rhythmic as well. So if we have that good, healthy, stable rhythm of sleeping and waking, making sure that we have light when we need to be awake and darkness when we need to be asleep. That's definitely going to play a large part in helping to start creating an environment that encourages healthy sleep. Also, the room temperature, your bedroom needs to be a little bit cooler, so maybe crack a window, because then you'll get a more restful sleep if your body is if you're sleeping in a little bit of a cooler environment. Okay. When we don't have enough sleep, that also provides stress. So back again in our previous segment speaking about stress, sleep is so important, because lack of sleep is going to add another stressor, and we're going to get that awesome cortisol response again that we don't want. Okay, now herbals that help with sleep would be herbals that you can use as a temporary measure. In other words, you don't want to be dependent on them. You don't want to be taking them over the long term. You want to correct disrupted sleeping patterns. So valerian, for example, is a really fabulous herbal sedative, but if you use it for too long, you're going to grow accustomed to it and it's going to start losing its effect. So use it as a tool, set some goals, do it for a few weeks. It will help to make you feel quite drowsy so that you can fall into a deeper sleep if that's your problem. Slow release melatonin. There are melatonins on the market that are released over 6 to 8 hours. So they'll help you not only to fall asleep, but fall into a deeper, more restful sleep. And that's when your recovery is happening. So use melatonin as a tool. Melatonin is not habit forming. So if you need to stay on it for a longer period of time, it's fine. And there are a number of other herbals and herbal combinations that you can try to help to correct disrupted sleeping patterns. But this is of absolute critical importance if you are trying to lose weight. So again, from the top, step 1, detox. So clear the path and make sure that you're getting rid of anything that may be slowing your metabolism down by what your body's storing. So help those elimination pathways to clear properly. Make sure that your diet is balanced, that you're not skipping meals, and that you're eating consistently. Work on making sure you're covering all of those essential food groups. No food is evil. It is all about how much of it you have. So don't be afraid of food. I want you to get back to loving food. It's all about balance and proportion. If you find that you're overeating, start looking at not just the proportions of your food, but when you're eating, again, rhythms, making sure that you're eating at regular intervals and getting enough fiber in your diet. Stress management. Regulating your stress response is going to play a huge role in helping to ensure that you have a healthy fat metabolism without having to take any stimulants. And most importantly, if we're regulating stress, if we're losing tummy fat, we are protecting ourselves from diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, those wicked 3 that people start looking at when they hit their 40s and 50s. Okay, so lose that tummy fat, because that can be dangerous to your health, and managing your stress can help you with losing that tummy fat. And then lastly, of course, making sure that you're sleeping well, sleeping deeply, and having good regular sleeping patterns is going to play a huge role in helping your body to recover and rebuild so you can get good, healthy sleep. And don't forget the exercise part, incorporating not just the cardiovascular exercise, but that weight-bearing exercise. Lift those weights, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to respond in further detail. Keep in mind that you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Wellness with Wisdom, or on Instagram at wellnesswith_wisdom. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to have a listen to this broadcast. Please do remember to focus on your goals, fuel your body with great energetic food, and find the time to prioritize.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and yes, hit that notification bell so you'll know when next I post new videos. Have a wonderful day and keep well.